We are going to discuss about radical equations. Objective: solve equations involving radical equations, solve problems involving radicals. Radical equation is an equation whose unknown quantity is in the radicand. Below are the examples of radical equations and not radical equations. Now, radical equations. Example, 3 is square root of x plus 5 equals 20. This is an example of radical equation because our variable is inside the radical symbol and another variable here is inside the radical symbol. Okay, this is not an example of radical equation because the variable x is not part of the radicand. The x here is outside the radical symbol. So remember these examples are not radical equations. Now, in this lesson, you have to solve radical equations. Hence, you have to assume that if two numbers are equal, then the square, cube, or nth power are also. You have to remember this. If x is equal to y, then x to the nth is equal to y to the nth, or if nth root of x to the nth power is equivalent to y raised to n and x is equal to y raised to n. So I will going to show you an example how to apply this law. So number one, write the equation such that radical containing the unknown is on one side of the equation. Number two, combine similar terms. We raise both sides of the equation to a power same as the index of the radical. The equation should be free from radical to complete the solution. Now you have to check if the value or values obtained will make the original equation true. So for example, solve for the value of x. Now if square root of x is equal to 7, so we are going to apply the squaring property because our given here is a square. So you are going to multiply our given the same with the power, the same with the index, which is 2. So let's write down square root of x here, then 7. So our index here is 2. So multiply with the exponent to both sides. So you have to divide the exponent into index since that is equivalent to 1. So our answer here is x. Now 7 squared, that is 7 times 7. That is 49. So the answer here is 49. Next, let's check if our answer is correct. So by checking, you are going to substitute our answer to our original given. So since x is 49 and our given is square root of x is equal to 7, so substitute 49 into x. So that will become 7. So square root of 49 is 7. And that is equal to 7. That's it. That's how you're going to check if your answer is correct. Another, let's solve for x here. So we have cube root of x minus 6 is equal to 3. Since our given here is cube, you have to apply the multiplication of power to both sides of our given. So we have cube root of x minus 6, then multiply to the power of 3 equals 3. Also multiply to the power of 3. So you have to multiply both sides of the equation. Right. So divide the exponent to the index that is equivalent to 1. So we can cancel that. So we have x minus 6 is equivalent to 3 cubed. That is 3 times 3 times 3. So 3 cubed or 3 times 3 times 3, that is 27. Now you have to write all numbers to the other side of the equation, and we have to remain one variable to other side of the equation. So applying the addition property of equality, so instead of minus 6, it will become plus 6, or add both sides of the equation by 6, and this one will be equivalent to 0. Then 27 plus 6, that is 33. Therefore, the unknown here is 33. Now, let's check if our answer is correct. Let's put our check new because we don't have space here. Checking. So we have x, which is 33. Let's substitute directly 33 into x. X will become 33 minus 6, then equals 3. So 33 minus 6, that is 27, equals 3. And the cube root of 27, that is 3 times 3 times 3. And then 3 times 3 times 3, that is 3 cubed. And we can cancel. So we have 3 equals 3. Our answer is correct. Plus 3 is equivalent to 3. Next, let's find the square root of the sum. Square root of the sum, you have to analyze our given first. So square root of the sum of a number and 9, since it has no given here, so we can write the unknown by x. Square root of the sum of a number and 9 is 6 is, in mathematical equation, it is equal sum. So sum, that is plus, meaning you are going to add a number and 9, then put square root. Square root of x plus 9 is equivalent to 6. Yeah. So we have the same answer here for writing this sentence into mathematical equation. Since we have this radical equation, so we can apply our rule in solving radical equation. Since our given here is square root, we have to multiply both sides of the equation by the square. Because the counterpart of square root is square. So square root of x plus 9, then square, then also write the square for 6, then divide 2 into 2, that is equivalent to 1. We have x plus 9 equals 6 squared, that is 36. Then apply the addition property of equality, subtract both sides by 9, so this is equivalent to 0. We have 36 minus 9. Next, 36 minus 9, that is 27. So the answer here is 27 for x. Now let's check if our answer is correct. So our given is the square root of x plus 9 is equal to 6. Then replace the x here by 27 by checking 27 plus 9 must be 6. So 27 plus 9 is 30. 6 equals 6. Square root of 36 is 6 equals 6. Therefore, our answer is correct. Now, we have here another problem that involves radical equation. So, a man walks 8 meters to the east. So, let's draw 8 meters to the east. Let's draw the direction going to the east. So, it has a man here that walks 8 meters to the east, then turns south. Then he walks 6 meters. Now, the question here, how far is he from the starting point? So, it is the starting point, and this is now his current location. So we're looking for this measurement or distance. So since our given here is a right triangle, we can apply the so-called Pythagorean theorem. And the missing is the hypotenuse, or the longest side of right triangle. So if you're going to recall Pythagorean theorem, the formula is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, where a and b here are the two legs and c is the longest side. So you can interchange 8 and 6 here since this is addition. Apply the commutative property. So we have 8 square plus 6 square is equal to c square, because we don't have yet given for c because it is missing. So A can be 8 or 6 and B can be 6 or 8. Then write down the square. Square of 8 is 64. And square of 6 is 30. It's then c square. And add 64 and 36, that is 100 c square. So applying the rule that I discussed a while ago, so to remove the square, the counterpart of the square is square root. So we can cancel the c, or the square root and the square. So that is c. Then get the square root of 100, that is positive and negative. Then since we are talking about the distance, we are going to get the positive value of c, which is 10. C is equal to positive 10. All right. So the x here is 10, or the distance of man from the starting point is 10 meters. Now to check if our answer is correct, so let's just apply the formula. The sum of the square of the two shorter sides is equivalent to the square of the longest side. So the square of 8 plus the square of 6 is equivalent to the square of the longest. So that is 64, and 36 is equivalent to 100. 64 plus 36 is 100, and copy 100. Alright, checking our answer is correct using C, which is 10. And don't forget to write your answer in a sentence form, because our given here is in a form of sentence. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening. If you have more questions, you can directly PM me through Messenger or through my FB. That's all. Thank you again.